They all burst out laughing when she lifted her glass. Everyone figured it was just her usual brand of humor, sharp and biting. But I caught the flicker in her eyes when they landed on him. To Michael, she said, glass raised with a grin, the man I should have married. The real father my son deserves. Nobody looked at me. Not a single head turned, as though I'd vanished in the swirl of confetti and pastel streamers she'd so carefully chosen. I stood at the back, half-hidden, my fingers wrapped so tightly around a plastic cup that the veins in my hand looked like live wires. I slipped out of the room unnoticed, not even by her. That was the last moment I let myself disappear. We'd met back in college, both 22, full of plans and big dreams. She was vibrant, the type who lit up a room just by walking in. I was more reserved, methodical, she called me her compass. We'd talk about someday, her wanting a place near the shore, me picturing kids and a yard. Life, though, has a way of splitting things right down the middle. She got her ocean. I got the house. But let's not jump ahead. Back then, Michael was just a name. My old buddy from high school, she'd say, always hanging around, laughing too loud, overstaying his welcome. She'd swear it was just friendship. And I wanted so badly to believe her because that's what love does to you. You trust until trust becomes the thing that cuts deepest. It started small. Her phone buzzing late at night. Her laughter a little too bright when his name lit up the screen. The way she'd leave the room mid-call. Then one night, I picked up her phone just to check the time, and there it was, open for me to see. He doesn't understand me like you do. You'll always be the one. I wish this baby were yours. The words didn't shatter me. They twisted like a knife turning slow in the dark. I didn't go to her right then. Because pain is loud. But revenge? Revenge moves in shadows. I started keeping tabs, screenshots, call logs, every message. Bought a cheap phone, stashed it in the bottom of my sock drawer, syncing her cloud when she wasn't looking. Hired a retired cop, paid him in cash to follow Michael. Slipped a tracker under his bumper. I started by tapping her phone. Within days, I had photos of them at a cheap motel. By the second week, I'd gotten my hands on receipts. She thought I was clueless. I let her think that because that was my weapon. While she was daydreaming about the nursery, I was drafting her downfall. I shifted our savings to an account she couldn't reach. Updated the will. Changed the mortgage paperwork to funnel everything into a trust. She signed it without a second glance, assuming it was just another refinance. She never read the details. She never did. The baby? Not mine. I made sure. Quiet DNA test from a clinic she didn't even know I'd been to. It didn't seem to bother her. She had Michael, or at least she thought she did. At the baby shower, she gave her sweet little toast, drunk on cheap champagne and the fantasy of a new life. Michael grinned like a fool, completely unaware he was standing in a snare. I walked out, but I didn't vanish. That night, while they clung to their stolen happiness, I put the final steps in motion. 2 days later, everything hit at once. First, Michael. I sent an anonymous package to his company's board, hotel photos, time-stamped, proof of him sleeping with a client's wife. I knew the company well, conservative, no room for scandal. They fired him on the spot, walked him out before lunch. Then it was her turn. I waited until the house was still quiet enough to hear the clock tick. She was on the nursery floor folding baby clothes when I dropped the file in front of her. Every message. Every photo. The DNA test. She looked up at me like she didn't recognize the man standing there. No, she whispered. Too late, I told her. I explained the trust, the money, the house, how she'd signed everything away. She'd get nothing. Except your son, I added. She screamed that he was her real family. She sobbed, pleaded, told me Michael meant nothing. That I was reading too much into it. I didn't blink. She tried to get a lawyer. Only to find I'd already filed for divorce with the proof. In our state, adultery wipes out her right to spousal support. And I had every scrap documented. Bulletproof. The final blow was for her parents. I sent them a copy of everything. Old school, strict, always treated me like their own. Her mom cried. Her dad told her she'd never set foot in his house again. Said she was dead to him. And Michael? After losing his job, he tried to sue me for defamation. I was ready. Through the court process, his financial records got exposed. That's when the real twist hit. He was already married with a wife across town, pregnant no less. She left him the second she saw the evidence. Now he's got nothing. No job, no home, no family. And the baby? Not mine. Not my responsibility. I walked away untouched, no alimony, no child support. Just freedom. I've built a new life by the ocean now. Irony, right? That place she always said she wanted, a home with a sea breeze and crashing waves. I kept it. Remodeled every inch, gutted it of any sign she'd ever been there. She came by once, dragging her regret like a heavy suitcase, hoping to find some scrap of sympathy. I didn't answer, just watched from the upstairs window as she stood there in the cold. She lingered for a while, then turned and left. They say revenge is best served cold. They're wrong. It's best served quiet, steady, and unseen.